If weed is just a little green plant that grows out of the ground, why the hell has it been such a global meltdown about it? Like, how did it go from sacred healing plant to a dangerous drug that gets you locked up faster than R. Kelly at a damn Diddy party? Well, let me introduce you to the biggest hater in the world, Harry Jacob Anslinger. And his name fits, because he be slinging that ass. I don't know, but I don't like him, so fuck him.
I'm the type of nigga that gets sassy on the bitch. VVS, clarity, stone, Prezi on the bitch. And I'm feeling like the hand of God bless me in this bitch. Put respect up on my name, ho, I'm heavy in this bitch. I just won 7 Grammys.
Born May 20th, 1892, you old bastard, in Altoona, Pennsylvania. And that sounds, I'm not gonna even get on Altoona, Pennsylvania, because they might still be here, and I ain't trying to, I'm sorry, Altoona, but you got somebody that's from there that's fucked up. They fucked up. I already told you from the... So his father's name was Robert Anslinger, and his mother's name was Rosa Cristina Filipina. She had a long name. It was Rosa Filipina Flatit. That's where her name was. So Harry grew up in a working class immigrant household. His parents were Swiss German, and his father was a barber who struggled to keep consistent employment. So he was just, he couldn't keep a job. That nigga couldn't keep a job. So due to that, the family moved often due to financial troubles. But Harry was said to be a very obedient and serious child that followed the rules. And this mentality right there stuck with him for life. Fun fact, side note, y'all know how I do. At the age of 12, he witnessed a family friend scream in agony from an opium withdrawal. So that experience supposedly shaped his lifelong obsession with narcotics. Though many people argue that was just an excuse for him to control people. But I don't know. I see both sides, y'all. Because, think about it. Boom, side thought. As a child, 12 years old, you see somebody screaming in agony from a withdrawal on narcotics, okay? That is a villain story in the making. It is not I'm not gonna say it's a villain, but y'all understand what I'm saying. That is a villain story. You see some shit like that. Now, for the rest of your life, you're just gonna be like, I am never gonna let somebody ever go through that again, and I'm gonna smack all the narcotics out of everybody's hand. They be like that. So I can see both sides. I can see both sides. But as the story goes on and you learn more about him, you're going to see why people say that. So let's keep going. So back to the story. So for him to be this big hotshot man, you would think he went to some type of law school or some type of medical school or something. No, he did not. Instead, he attended Altoona Business College, and later he attended Pennsylvania State College. But it was just for a brief time, studying business and criminal law. But guess here. The nigga didn't even finish. What the fuck? So he finessed his way into the State Department, bouncing around places like the Bahamas, Germany, Panama, investigating alcohol and drug trafficking. So here's where it gets juicy. During the last years of alcohol prohibition, Harry gets appointed as the first ever commissioner of the Federal Bureau of Narcotics, the FBN for short. Oh my God, not the FBN. Now, why him, you may ask? Because we already said the nigga ain't have the credentials to do not a damn thing. He couldn't even give me a bag of sugar if I wanted him to. So why him, you may ask? Great question. So he married a nice, beautiful, Magnolia Queen young lady by the name of Martha Denniston, who had just so happened to be the niece of Andrew Mellon, the actual Secretary of Treasury. So I had to do some research on what the Secretary of Treasury was. So that's not somebody that wear heels all the time, just answer the phone and say, hi, how you doing? This is Dope Soul's office. How can I assist you today? No, he was really he was somebody, because I was trying to figure out why the fuck, okay, how the fuck he get some pool? But no, it's not like that. It's really about money. So Mellon helped create the Bureau of Narcotics, and surprise, 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 Anslinger ended up running it. Now at first, get this, he didn't even care about weed. In fact, in the early 30s, he straight up said, there is no more absurd fallacy than the idea of marijuana making people violent. That's what he said. I didn't say that. That is what he said. That's what that nigga said. What changed, you may ask? Money, power, and racism. Anslinger realized that he can build his empire by turning marijuana into a national threat. And since alcohol prohibition flopped super hard, marijuana was the next target. He started pushing the narrative that marijuana could destroy America, especially if it stayed in the hands of black jazz musicians and Mexican immigrants. Like, do y'all hear how stupid that sounds? Like, why everything gotta be on black people and brown people and just everything that's not white? Like, why does it have to be like that? White people was smoking weed, but it ain't have nothing to do with that. When they was smoking weed and selling it in pharmacies in 1800, oh, y'all didn't even tell y'all that side note. In the 1800s, weed was actually prescribed in pharmacies. Like, we was actually smoking the shit and we was healing with it. We go back to ancient, we was healing with it. But as soon as black people started smoking it, as soon as Mexican immigrants started coming over to the United States and they started smoking it and calling it marijuana, because that's not what they called it. They called it something else. I don't even know what the fuck they called it, but Mexican people called it marijuana. Marijuana. So they got scared and tried to say it was foreign and scary. So that's just a fun fact. But it was prescribed in pharmacies in the 1800s. Weed. Back to the story. So Anslinger had the media on lock. He sent fear-mongering stories to newspapers and told reporters that weed make people rape, murder, and lose their minds. And every headline was wild. Some of the few of the headlines was like, marijuana, youth of assassins, or Reefer, make fiends of boys in 30 days. Or my favorite right here, weed are the roots from hell. Like, how dramatic can you fucking be? He also targeted the jazz community hard. He said shit like, Reefer makes darkies think they're as good as white men. Side thought here. When I was writing the script, when I was researching and writing the script and I seen that, the first thing I could think of is like, why is every race, I'm not gonna say every race is racist, but every race got a little racist to it. Like, every race feel like they're the superior race. Even black race, we feel like we're the superior race, or like we the chosen ones or something like that. And I'm not saying we not, or nothing like that. I'm saying I don't know. I don't know. And me saying something like that, it's starting a race war. You're putting something in somebody's head that you're better than somebody, so it's gonna make somebody feel some type of way. It don't matter how you say it or what you make it feel like. It just makes somebody feel some type of way. And I never understood why people just didn't understand that. I just want us to love each other. Like, I just want it to be a day where you don't look at somebody and you see that they're black, white, Mexican, Puerto Rican, Asian, whatever. Whatever. I don't want to see that shit. Like, is y'all not tired of that shit? Why just can't be humans? Like, why we just can't be humans? It would be so much greater in life if instead of us thinking about color, we would just be thinking about each other, like how somebody think in their head and how they move in their head. Are they loving? Are they nice? Do they spread love? Do they spread hate? And if they spread hate, how about you just spread a little love to them, the ripple effect, y'all? I just don't be understanding. Like, you know, it only take one person to flip it, but if that one person is you, that's what changed the world. Y'all not be understand that when people be like, it only take one person to change the world. Bitch, it only take one person to change the world, but that one person is you. So of all these 1,000,000,001 people, if you do what you need to do, see what you need to do, that's all, that's it. Let's just chill out with all that. Like, if you're a loving individual, I love you. Okay? Hey, girl, hey. Hey, sir, hey, whatever. Like, come on, y'all. Let's get it together, bro. Stop letting these people get in your head. That's what they want you to feel like. They want you to get in your head. I'm not even supposed to be on here preaching, but that's what they want you to feel like. They want y'all to be like that. At the end of the day, fuck. Because it keeps the agenda going and keep us separated and shit like that. If we was all together, then we could move how we wanted to move. We wouldn't have to tell. I'm getting off topic. But that's what the nigga said. He said Reefer makes darkies feel like they just as good as white men. And I think that's fucked up that he said that. But back to the story. So of course it was all fear and no facts. But it worked. So now that the public was afraid of this evil weed, dun 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 dun, Anslinger had the solution, of course. The Marijuana Tax Act of 1937. So this law didn't outright ban marijuana, but it taxed it so hard, it made the paperwork so complicated that it basically became impossible to grow, sell, or use marijuana. And guess who pulled up to Congress to speak against weed? A bunch of made-up doctors with some straight-up racist testimonials. Even the American Medical Association was scratching their head like, hold on now. This don't seem right. What the fuck? Like, they was at home watching this shit like, weed make you evil and kill and rape. That don't sound too right to me. You wanna hit this, Bob? But it didn't matter. The law was passed, and suddenly, cannabis became criminalized nationwide. So if you're not already pissed, oh boy, are you gonna be? So Anslinger used this law to weaponize black musicians and Latino immigrants. And shit, everybody else who didn't fit the white society standard. Legends like Louis Armstrong and Billie Holiday were constantly harassed, arrested, and watched by the FBI. He even went as far as stalking Billie Holiday when she was battling grief and addiction. He threatened her, wiretapped her phone. The sick bastard even arrested her while she was on her deathbed. Meanwhile, wealthy white folks were still smoking behind closed doors without a care in the world. So yeah, the war on weed was never even about weed. It was about control, it was about race, and it was about keeping power in certain hands. So Anslinger reign lasted from the 1930s all the way into the fucking 1960s. And the damage he did set the stage for everything that came after. So by the time of the Controlled Substance Act of 1970 that was passed under Nixon, guess what drug got slammed into the highest tier? Same as heroin. Yep, marijuana. No medical use. Just high potential for abuse. Just some straight bullshit. Then came Reagan. Then came the war on drugs. Then came mandatory minimums and 3-strike laws that destroyed millions of black lives and communities. And all of it traced back to the fear that Anslinger planted. Fast forward today, weed is being legalized, decriminalized, and turned into this billion-dollar industry. There are cannabis lounges, luxury brands, and dispensaries on every damn corner. But guess who's not profiting? The people that were harmed by Anslinger's war. People are still locked up for non-violent cannabis offenses, still losing jobs, kids, housing, over a plant that CEOs now sell in branded packaging on TikTok campaigns. That's why we say legalization without justice ain't justice. So yeah, when people said weed was illegal because it was dangerous, you can hit them with the truth or your fucking fist. It was criminalized because of racism, fear, and one man's obsession with control. Anslinger may be dead, but his legacy still lives on in law prisons and stereotypes. But we're not staying quiet. And on High History, we're gonna keep lighting up the truth. Drop a comment if you think weed should be federally legal. So make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Because on the next episode, we're gonna be diving into cannabis use in ancient China. I like going back in time, y'all. I know. I like going back in time. I like it. So yeah, cannabis use in ancient China. That's a good one. Until next time, you already know. Smoke the gas. Hold on. It ain't lit. Hold on. And pass it. Dope soul out. So by the time of the Controlled Substance Act, so by the time the Controlled Substance Act of 1970 that was passed under Nixon, guess what drug was in the highest tier? Fast forward to today, weed is being legalized. God damn it. We're gonna keep lighting up the truth. And on High History, LP, shut up. And on High History, we're gonna keep lighting up the truth. Lay down.